Hey everyone, you're listening to the Visually Stunning Movie Podcast, the place to come if you just want some good old-fashioned talk about movies. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter, VS Movie Podcast. You can just go to the website, vsmoviepodcast.com. We're on Google Podcasts, we're on Apple News, we're on Stitcher, we're on Spotify. Basically, you can find us pretty much anywhere you want to listen to us. We appreciate you listening. If you want to throw us a like, follow us on any of those outlets, and share us with your friends. We'd really appreciate it. And don't forget, if the best thing you can say about a movie is that it is visually stunning, then the filmmakers have done something dreadfully wrong. Now, let's get on with the show. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Visually Stunning Movie Podcast. I'm Mark, that's Ryan. What's up, Ryan?
Not much. How you guys doing?
Not too bad. Thanks for listening, everyone. We are going to talk about a big release this weekend, big in more ways than one. Bumblebee. This is the de facto reboot on the Transformers franchise. It takes place in 1987 with everyone's favorite VW Beetle, Camaro, Bumblebee, Haley Steinfeld, Dylan O'Brien, which I knew the voice, and I had to look it up at the end. We get to hear Bumblebee talk, which was great. John Cena's in it. So we start. Let's talk about the opening on this film for a minute. We open on Cybertron,
which is the movie that I have wanted to see since they started making the live action films.
During the war on Cybertron between the Autobots and the Decepticons.
I want a movie that is all Transformers, no people. Or if you want, you could maybe have one or two people.
Okay, well, you know what? Yeah, but so we'll get there because So Bumblebee comes to Earth to scout ahead.
Sure.
For the Autobots at the direction of one Optimus Q Prime, and we get Bumblebee's adventures on Earth as a VW Beetle. First, Can we acknowledge the fact that it feels like you're watching the cartoon when it comes to the actual transforming?
Sure.
It's really quick and short.
Yeah. It's not over elaborate. It's not showing off.
No. There's a couple spots where it's kind of intricate, but it's still fast and it's not over the top.
No, and usually there's a reason, and in the couple instances I think you're referring to, at least one of them's a comedic bit.
Yes.
Where yes, this is not a movie that lasts over 2 hours, which might be a first for a Transformers film.
Well, I think isn't it like a hair over 2 hours? I mean, it's right at 2 hours. I think
it's right under, I think. But still, I mean, but it also doesn't feel. And the transforming is part of that. It never feels excessive in the same way that we've kind of come to expect the Transformer films to be.
And let's acknowledge that's partly because Michael Bay
is a producer and not a director.
Is a producer, not a director. And if you really wanted to go farther, I'll go a little bit more meta for you. The fact that every transformation does not take 30 seconds cuts a bunch of time out of the film, much like if Zack Snyder knew how to shoot things at full speed instead of slow-mo drama walk, his movies would not be so long.
That could be.
And Spielberg's a producer on this, which I didn't realize till the end credits, which was great.
Yeah, he's on all of them. Yeah.
But I didn't realize he was on the first ones, but it's almost like he just really put his thumb on somebody this time. The story I thought was really tight. There was a clearly defined story.
Sure, it's a John Hughes film.
Sure.
With a Transformers film parallel to it.
I'll buy that. I will buy that. So we have the effects are, great. Even John Cena's performance I thought was really good.
I think he's a bit rigid, but I don't think.
Well, I thought he played that character pretty well. I'm not saying John Cena is going to win an Oscar for anything ever.
No.
But I'm saying if this character, it's like that was the guy at the beginning in the forest, and then later on, during the rest of it. I thought that was great. The guy I didn't like the most was the stupid scientist.
Yeah, but he's not in very much either.
No, but every time he was on, I just wanted to slap him, and then at the end, he kind of got slapped. But yeah, it was just
Are you talking about the military guy?
The
military scientist or the TV scientist? Military, I guess the military.
The dude that said,
my brain's getting a little.
Yeah, the guy that said we need to use them. The little military scientist. So, but I thought it was cool. We got a lot of nods to the existing universe. You know, we got Sector 7. So there were a lot of little hat tips to the older movies or the other movies, future past movies, the Bay films. So but
movies that hopefully don't actually exist anymore.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah. So
sorry.
No, it was that we hope don't. Yeah. Hopefully they've been undone. So yeah, no, it was. I thought it was really well put together. I thought the performances were good. When we came out, we talked to the studio rep. I said this film gave Transformers a heart, and I think that's true. There's more emotion in this film than there was in any of the other ones.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, and when you say emotion, you're referring to every aspect. The Bumblebee himself, and the actors around him. All of them. Bumblebee was given more than just he had dimension.
Yeah, he had an emotional range.
Yeah.
And that was portrayed very well by the effects team and the sound people, because the sound people. But yeah, no, the actors, I mean, everyone, there was emotion running through basically every character in the film, and they all got to show that, and it was all done pretty well. And Bumblebee is, it's the Long Kiss Goodnight with Gina Davis? He can't remember anything.
Yeah, he's lost his mind.
Yeah. I liked the little details. I liked when he went into his little combat mode. I loved that his scanner were all hexes, like honeycomb.
Sure.
Even though it's just weird little things like that throughout the film. I just thought were really cool. And it showed me that they put some thought into actually trying to build a world to drop a Transformer into, rather than just throw a bunch of CGI robots up on screen, as the other films kind of became. So that's really why I think I like this film so much, because it feels like they put an appropriate amount of thought and preparation into building the world that we had to watch for 2 hours.
Well, and I would suggest that is because of the director that they used.
What else has he done?
Kubo and Two Strings.
Oh, shit.
Yep. And a lot of the other, he's worked on a lot of their I think it was artistic stuff on some of the other animated films. This is his first live action film. But I think that animation background, you literally have to build the animated world, and I think that played fairly well into this. So I think he deserves a lot of credit for this film.
Yeah, I'm looking at his list. His background is in animation. This is only his second directorial credit. The first one was Kubo, but he was lead animator on Box Trolls, on Paranorman, on Coraline. So yeah, he's got some experience with non-real actors, so to speak, and how to visually tell a story that way. And I think that did. You're right. I think that played a huge part in how Bumblebee specifically was able to emote so well and feel genuine. If a giant transforming robot from outer space can feel genuine. Yeah, you're right. Hats off to him for that.
And hats off to everyone who decided that they would let him do this.
Yeah, I don't know who made that call, but good job. Thumbs up. But
anyway.
Yeah, so on this one, I'm like an 8. I like this one a lot.
See, I'm thinking 7.5. I do have a few issues here and there. Nothing that, I mean, it's a fun movie. and there's nothing that was faulty that really got in the way of that. You know, I just think I have to, you know, as a going in, what did I want? Did I get what I wanted? Absolutely, I got what I want. I got the first Transformers film that I think I can watch in a year and still, well, yeah, and still feel like good. Because I think what happened is a lot of us enjoyed the first film and then went back and realized, oh, wait a minute, it's not really as good as we initially thought. It was just great to see these Transformers, you know, in a live action film. Whereas this one, at least,
being a Transformers film was enough.
Yes, but I think in this case, the spirit is there. I think the film is as much about Bumblebee as it is about the teenage girl, and I think that it needed to be that. I'm tired of seeing Transformer films that aren't actually about the Transformers. It seems ridiculous to me that we keep getting these. Well, that we kept getting these really prolonged, horrible, bad comedy action films that that didn't really, I don't know, didn't really seem to more like, okay, how can we make these Transformers cooler? Well, you don't need to make them any more cool than they were. You just need to make a movie that's about them and not about, what they're little buddies and they're making up all these characters that it's, no, you can do that, I guess, further down the line, but at least give us, the classic aspects of it. And I feel like this film did. You could say that, there aren't as many Transformers in this, but I think that actually helped. I think that it's kind of stripping it back to just a handful worked really well, and allowed, just like, in anything, I mean, you have more Transformers, they're going to detract from each other.
Yeah.
They're going to take up space. I mean, is it crazy that Optimus Prime is only
has a cameo?
Well, he has a couple, I mean, he's in it. His presence is felt throughout, but he's not necessarily there throughout. And I think that's an interesting choice, and I think they did really well with it. But
you couldn't have a Bumblebee film that had Optimus Prime in it all the way through.
Probably not. No, because it would be an Optimus Prime film.
Right. Now there is talk of us getting an Optimus Prime film,
which
that may or may not be your War on Cybertron movie.
If I get that, I'd be totally excited.
I told you we'd get back to that.
Yeah. No. It's yeah. I mean, and even if it's not, I just think this sort of slimming, and there's another film coming out this week where I think they should have maybe looked at making it less rather than more. That we'll talk about some other time. But I think sometimes limiting the scope, giving yourself a ceiling that you can't go through, actually helps the creative aspects.
Yeah.
And I think that in a lot of ways it was the limitations that made this film work. But yeah, I mean, there are some flaws here and there. I think it could have been a little tighter with some of the writing, and I think that there is somewhat of a disappointment in me in the sense that I can trace a lot of the scenes and things to other films, and it does rely on 80s nostalgia in a general sense, quite a great deal, which is, again, that's fine. I think that she's into all sorts of music, and I think that's because of her father, and I think we figured that out. If I want to get hypercritical, I don't think they were using all the right songs, but
well,
1987, some of that would be different. But anyway, but that doesn't really factor into I loved the film. I left excited. I was excited while watching it. It wasn't until I kind of had to break everything down that I had to come kind of back to the ground level. But
yeah, I walked out, and I was, after I told talked to the studio rep, I texted my wife, who wants to see the film, but she didn't want to see it in the theaters. So I said, you're really going to like the movie. And she goes, She goes, will I cry? And I was like, in a good way. So
Yeah.
she doesn't want to cry in the theater. I was like, no, you'll cry in a good way.
Well, I mean, this isn't won't you be my neighbor? Or,
Wow.
you know.
But no, yeah, and it's not like a sick puppy movie either. But it's
No.
like I said, it's genuine enough to where you can invest in
Sure.
our two leads, Charlie and Bumblebee.
And I do think that there is, I think this film, people who aren't necessarily traditionally Transformers fans might actually like this as well. I think that the human story in this one actually feels real. It's not exploitive. You have a young woman who isn't used as a fantasy object or whatever. The creepiness of the Michael Bay films is gone, and I think that's kind of a relief, because Michael Bay really only has one style, one sort of thing that he does, and I think over 5 films that not only got tiresome, the further you got into it, the more you realize that he probably never should have directed any of them in the first place.
Well, let's not reevaluate the guy that's made $1 bajillion.
Sure, he made $1 bajillion, but how many people love the Transformer films? I don't know. The attendance went down with each film as we got in there, and
so we'll see. I think it's going to do well. I think it'll do better than Mary Poppins Returns.
I hope,
which we talked about.
Although I mean, I like between if you had to, if this weekend you wanted a family pleaser, those are the 2 films.
Oh yeah,
really. If you want to walk out satisfied and happy with the 2 hours you just spent in the movie theater, it's either Mary Poppins or Bumblebee for me.
And I was happier at the end of Bumblebee. So that's me.
But that's that's more. I mean, that shouldn't be a surprise. It was a Transformers film done fairly well, and that's more up your alley than
the bar it had to clear was lower than Mary Poppins Returns. Mary Poppins had a higher bar. That's just a fact. So, but I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how that all shakes out this weekend.
I just hope that it makes a fair amount of money, and we get to keep going with. And they're talking. The interesting angle on this one is Travis Knight has been mentioned as a possible Guardians of the Galaxy 3 director. I don't know that if I was him, I'd take that job.
There's a lot of baggage on that one right now.
But that said, he's the early buzz about Bumblebee before it was even released, studio-wise, was extremely high, and whether or not he keeps going with that franchise or goes on to another, I think he's going to have
let him reboot the Fantastic Four.
Let's just make a Doctor Doom movie.
Okay, but in my Doctor Doom movie, Doctor Doom has to win. If you're going to make a Doom movie, it needs to be Emperor Doom.
Have no problem with Doom winning. In fact, if you want to kick off the whole second phase of whatever Marvel 2.0 or whatever they're going to do,
phase 4,
phase 4 or whatever. If you want to kick it off with, you know what, guys, in this one, the bad guys win for a couple films. That's fine. Shake it up. Doom can come in and dominate and play his little games and sure, why not?
I agree.
I mean, look, if you can make Suicide Squad, which is a bunch of villains there, surely you can figure out a story where Doctor Doom comes in and wins for a while.
They could do Emperor Doom as 2 movies. I think that would be excellent.
Sure.
So, all right, there you go, Hollywood. That's our wishful thinking, directing, casting again. It's like they ever listen to us. So Bumblebee,
Never.
Family film, good time. You'll have a fun time. And pretend the other ones didn't happen. Pretend those other Transformers movies didn't happen, because as far as this one's concerned, they didn't.
No.
Yeah, there you go. So, till next time, I'm Mark. That's Ryan. Bye, Ryan.
See you guys.
And we will talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.